Hello everyone, how are you all? I'm Devottam and you are listening to Better You, Better Life, a self improvement plan podcast, season 1, episode 33. As climate change series is continued, as a part of this 7-part episode series, today we will be discussing about episode number 4. Well, to begin with, let's appreciate that this climate change continues to reshape our world. The frequency and intensity of extreme weather events are always on the all-time rise. We can observe that these extreme weather events like hurricanes, extreme drought, heat wave, wildfire, floods, tsunami, everything is becoming much more like a regular phenomena rather than a rare phenomena compared to past. So in this episode we will explore about husband-wife relationship. Don't get me wrong, I'm talking about husband-wife relationship between climate change and extreme weather events. Both are so closely related that examining how global warming contributes to their intensification and altered patterns. By trying to understanding these impacts, we will be able to understand the urgency, the immediate need of holistic disaster preparedness and resilience building measures. To start with, let us talk about the weather pattern, the intensification and the disturbed weather pattern because of human activities. Climate change, it acts as a catalyst for the intensification and altered patterns of extreme weather events. Well, let us break it down for a simpler understanding. Warmer temperatures provide more energy to fuel storms, resulting in more powerful hurricanes and cyclones. Some things which you will always listen in the news, which is hovering over Pacific Ocean. Now, as we have already discussed in our previous episodes that rising sea surface temperatures lead to increased moisture in the atmosphere, and it leads to contribution of heavier rainfall during storms, and which is leading to increase in frequency of flood risk, especially in the coastal areas or the riverbank areas. In addition, changing atmospheric conditions influences the frequency and severity of droughts, heat waves and wildfires. Just taking a small example that this 2023 year is an La Nina year. This year is going to be more intense, more hotter than the previous 3 years because it is because of a global phenomena of La Nina and El Nina. I won't go into details of that, but you can see the underlying principle that because of the weather pattern that has been disturbed at global level, that is the reason why especially Southeast Asia or the temperate zone countries, they are experiencing more summer than ever before. The another aspects we have to consider is that of social, economic and environmental impacts. The impacts of extreme weather events are multifaceted, affecting societies, economies and the environment. Only if one goes through it, one would understand how much losses that families had to bear because of somebody else's action, because of developed nations who have done so much of emission in the era of industrial revolution that the onus has been put on third world countries or developing countries for bearing the brunt of this climate action. Now, interestingly, all these developed nations are only coming forward to creating a pact, creating an agreement of limiting greenhouse gas emissions, for example. So that is the reason, especially in countries like Africa, sub-Saharan African nations, who are really bearing the brunt of this climate change, because water is a very precious resource in that continent. So now, because of climate actions, these half of the African continent is going through prolonged drought and famine. So that's why the families who are actually in the firing line will be able to describe properly that what it's like being the receiving the direct consequences of climate change. In terms of social impacts, these events can also result in the loss of lives, then migration or the means unforced displacement of communities, especially primitive and vulnerable tribes, especially the tribes which are very much on the verge of extinction, and forest tribes I'm talking about, and the disruption of essential services such as healthcare, transportation, and communication. Vulnerable populations also includes the elderly persons, especially the aged persons, children, and how low level income communities who often bear the brunt of these events. Whereas the privileged ones, the elite ones, are able to navigate safely through it because they have the power in their hands to navigate themselves in times of testing situations. Economically speaking, extreme weather events can be substantially damaging, especially to public infrastructure, agriculture, and businesses. As you can see, like the amount of loss it generates in millions and billions of US dollars when any natural disaster strikes in. The best example can be the volcanic eruption that happened in Fiji Islands a decade back. How much loss it has brought to the community, if you understand what I'm trying to say. Rebuilding and recovery efforts following hurricanes, floods, and wildfire requires significant financial resources for restoring normalcy and can strain and national economies. Wildfires are very much famous in Australia because one thunderstorm will come, and that one small spark that will ignite on one side of the forest, slowly it will be amplified in the entire hectares. Thousands and thousands of hectares will be burnt, and there will be lot of loss as far as habitat is concerned, living species, then forest biodiversity, and to restoring them back to normalcy. Just imagine the amount of money government has to spend. So it has lots of economic implications as well. Just imagine that you are recently in Himachal Pradesh, because of abnormal monsoon, it has received excessive monsoon than its normal level, and you can see how much disruptions it has brought to supply chain, agricultural productivity, and tourism that has had long-term economic implications for affected regions. For this, I need not to quote any example, as one can find out from media news and articles, and this is overwhelming news of damage throughout the world can be known. From an environmental point of view, extreme weather conditions can often result in destruction of habitat, natural habitat, then of course loss of biodiversity and ecosystem degradation. For example, wildfires can devastate forest, disrupts natural habitat, and release vast amount of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, further enhancing the effect of climate change. So the result is multidimensional and multiple times. Now let us also talk about the preparedness. Now we are coming in the authority, like what is the duty as an organization, the corporations, if any preparedness is needed for any disaster that might strike in your place. That is, understanding its relationship between climate change and extreme weather events often underscore the critical importance of comprehensive disaster preparedness. Like whenever a disaster strikes, how much are we prepared? How much are we prepared to take on that situation? How much we are able to help others in the time of difficulty or in the time of needs? So that is another aspect that I would like to highlight here. I can proudly quote an example from the Orissa state of India, where a cyclone monitoring system in the form of an early warning system was established after the disastrous cyclone that ruptured the state way back in 1999. You please go to the Google and you can always find out that what happened in the Orissa cyclone in 1999. Since then, in India, I can proudly say that we have a mechanism that gives us early warning to the government, which helps us in improve our preparedness for any upcoming disaster. So it's not only the responsibility of the corporations, government, but also the communities and individuals that must prioritize resilience building measures to minimize the impacts of these events. This includes investing in early warning systems at local level, improving infrastructure to withstand extreme conditions, then enhancing emergency response capabilities and promoting community based adaptation strategies. Additionally, if we are a little bit proactive in land use planning, then reforestation and sustainable water management, which can contribute to mitigating the risks associated with extreme weather events. For this, we also have to take education and awareness campaigns across the masses also play a very vital role in fostering a culture, a preparedness and promoting sustainable behaviors that will reduce the overall impact of climate change. Behavioral change is much more important than any other action at the moment. To cut the long thing short, we can conclude that climate change acts as a significant driver of the intensification and disturbing patterns of extreme weather conditions. Hurricanes, droughts, heat waves, and wildfire, they are becoming more and more frequent and severe, causing profound social, economic, and environmental aspects. So let us try to recognize the urgency of comprehensive disaster preparedness and resilience building measures, which is crucial to protect lives, safeguard economies, and preserve the integrity of our ecosystem. By addressing these root cause of climate change and implementing adapting strategies, we can strive towards a more resilient and sustainable future, better equipped to face the challenges posed by extreme weather events. That's all for today, my dear friends. I hope you found this episode on fourth episode of climate change, in which we try to reflect about understanding not only the geographical aspect but also the economical aspect, and at the individual level what we can do to improve our understanding, harnessing knowledge for improving our preparedness in case a disaster strikes, and we can save lots and lots of money which could have otherwise been invested for other better purposes. In the next episode we will touch another topic on climate change in order to improve our better version of ourselves. I thank you for listening to our podcast. Until then, we meet next time. Enjoy your week. Signing off.